this episode, we turn the spotlight on Holland America to find out if they are your best bet for a premium cruise experience. We're going to show you right around the Rotterdam, their flagship. We'll take you from top to bottom so you can see what everything looks like, all the way from the inside to out. So you can imagine you're really there. It's going to be a very immersive experience. You'll be able to picture everything, as we did, from a whole new angle. We'll show you what sort of meals you can expect, what we ate, and tell you if it was any good at all. And whether their range of cabins, wow or not.
Ooh.
Also what entertainment they offer. And most importantly, should you go out right away and book a cruise with Holland America? All this coming up. Let's find out. Welcome back to the Ritzy Travel Guide. My name is Bill, and it's great to have you with us. This episode, it's our in-depth look at Holland America. Now, Holland America has been around since 1873, so that's 150 years ago, and that's a huge head start over almost every other cruise line operating today. Because in 2025, we find the entire cruise sector is in a state of change. And ships designers are conjuring up all sorts of new designs to capture the public's imagination. And it's happening with Holland America too, because for all these years, they've had a reputation for being a little, what should we say, conservative, a little bit staid, perhaps a little bit old-fashioned. So the pressure is on to prove that their product is still in demand. In fact, they started their move to more modern ships back in 2016, when they launched the Koningsdam, the first in their Pinnacle Class of Ships. So that was in 2016, and since then, Holland America have launched 3 new Pinnacle Class ships. We're going to use the Rotterdam as a test case. As we've just been on it, this is what she looks like, and her maiden was in 2021. And she carries 2,668 passengers, which I would consider a good passenger-to-size ratio. It means it's not going to get too crowded aboard, and we'll split our coverage across 2 videos. What you're watching now, the first one, this is the full ship's review. We'll show you everything the ship has, and give our commentary and opinions as we go along. The second video is about the experience. We call it our cruise diary, and we put out one for every cruise we go on. We'll show you the daily life aboard and how you can keep yourself amused. The cruise diary is always light-hearted and a lot of fun, as well as revealing. As you can imagine, you're right there, eating, trying, and doing it all with us. We went from Florida down to Central America and the Panama Canal, and video 2 will show you those ports of call, which were fantastic, so you could see if it's an itinerary which you would like. As ever, this is not a paid review. Nobody has told us what to say. These are entirely our own opinions. Right, let's go cruising. Right, here we go, embarkation day. And from the very moment you step aboard, you get the feel and tone of the ship. And to my eyes, I think the designers have done a great job. They've really blended a timeless, elegant feel with more contemporary, whilst at the same time giving a sense of space and openness. It's got a certain grandeur, it's got a certain elegance to it, hasn't it?
Come on board a ship. First impressions. It's very important.
They are very
This
important.
one looks quite classy in the lighting.
I think it does look classy. Certain executive feel to it, don't you think? And then you get the atrium, and your first example of how they've blended old with new. It's very contemporary. On first view, you go, wow, and then you step back and take it all in. It's very striking, very bold. Really a statement. I had to pause for just a moment to capture it all, because the initial few moments on any ship are important, because it sets the tone for the whole cruise. And then in complete contrast, you stroll into BB King's The Blues Club. Originally, before signing the deal with BB King's, it was going to be called the Queen's Lounge. And you can see why, because it really takes you back to the golden age of cruising. It's very retro, swooping lines, but with more contemporary lighting. I'll show you the music you get in here a little later when we cover the entertainment aboard.
More than any other ship I've been on, they've merged two almost different styles together. The 1920s Art Deco feel of being on a traditional ocean-going liner, but I think they've pulled it off. It is ultimately giving you an elegant feel, an upmarket feel.
There's enough drama and impact to give you that feel-good factor, and most importantly, the flow of the ship is good. And the corridors are spacious. If you have a disability, these Pinnacle ships fare pretty well. And that is important on a ship nowadays. These mega ships are all very well, but they won't look and feel like this inside. There will be more cheek by jowl, way more crowded than this. So that's the initial look and feel of the ship as we came aboard. In a moment, I'll show you the restaurants and bars and what they offer, because the main dining room is a stunner. You'll want to see that. I will also take you around our cabin. But first, let's go outside and show you the pools and the decks. The Rotterdam has two pools, one right in the centre and one at the aft deck. Let's take a look at both. Here we go, the Lido pool. And we really enjoyed this area, and we think it's one of the best designed we've seen for a while. There's three very artistic looking hot tubs with a great view right down the centre. And once again, a lot of seating flanked along both sides of the ship. And as with most modern ships these days, there is a retractable roof that can be open or closed depending on the weather and the season. And that's very important if you're on a cold climate cruise or at a time of the year when weather is going to be unpredictable. It's a mistake that Virgin has made with their ships. No retractable roof, so there's no taking refuge from inclement weather.
Now, I think these Pinnacle Class ships have absolutely got this section bang on right. Beautifully spacious, nice and bright, got the retractable roof, and fantastic viewing positions all around. I'm up here on deck 10, looking down on deck 9. A lot of choice of places to sit, and then up here, you've got like the viewing gallery. Beautiful, comfy, spacey, so you can either look in this direction down there at the Lido pool, or you can sit there outside. Really nice spot up here. It's one of our favourite places to be. We often, when we get up, come here about 5:45, 6 o'clock, have our coffee, and then watch the world go by, because it's wall-to-wall glass up here. And I tell you what, slightly unusually, they've got these sort of like, what do you call them, privacy curtains? Normally you'd have to go to like a suite class here where you'd have them on a separate deck, so you can pull them across both sides, give yourself a little bit of privacy. You've got these flat lay-low massage style beds as well, so you can pick your choice of seating. Well done. I think they've designed this really nicely.
And there are a couple of eateries around the pool. There is the burger counter. I have to say the quality was pretty good. I don't normally go for poolside burgers as they can be a bit so-so, but this was better than that. Upstairs there is the New York Deli and Pizza, which is open from very early in the morning until midnight, with breakfast early in the morning right through to late night with pizzas, salads and light bites. And they have popcorn at night, so you can sit there under the stars and watch a movie on the large screen. It's a relaxing spot. Let's now look at the outside pool right at the aft. Again, reasonably well laid out. It has a tiered system, so you can choose to be up or down. A couple of observations of this: I do wish the pool was larger. But that is a comment I suppose I could make about a lot of cruise lines now. The outdoor pools are shrinking. Likewise here on the Rotterdam, just 2 hot tubs. There really should have been more, and they're not that large either. As for deck chairs and sun loungers, you are well catered for though. You can generally get yourself a spot to relax, definitely so upstairs, which has a lot of seating. And there's a good bar outside, well stocked and provided for. We do enjoy eating outside whenever the weather allows, and it was a simple matter to get to the buffet from here. More on that buffet a bit later, as I have quite a lot to say about that. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please do give it a thumbs up, as it lets us know we're on the right track, and we'll try to put out more of this type of material. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to take a look at the cabins, the entertainment and music venues, as well as the spa and the fitness areas. Let's now take a look at some of the restaurants aboard the Rotterdam. We'll start off first with the main dining room, and then look at the buffet and some of the specialty outlets. Here we go, the main dining room. I have to say, when you see it in person, it's a real showstopper. It has a lot of wow factor. Some have compared it to looking a little bit like you're inside of a whale, with the bones coming up from the sides. However you think it looks, there is a real sense of occasion and size, with just about the right amount of feature lighting. What I do like is that it's much more spacious than the average main dining room these days. Look how far spaced out the tables are, not on top of each other. Some competitors shove the table mere inches away from each other, not here. You get that sense of privacy if that's what you want. I tell you the other aspect we liked, we never had a problem getting a table. We chose anytime dining, which is normally the death knell, with some of the competition, with lines going right out of the door. We never had that problem. We always got a seat within moments. That is a testament to three things. Firstly, having enough seating for their passenger capacity, and secondly, having an efficient kitchen, and thirdly, sufficient staff. Also a contributing factor to not feeling full is that the buffet aboard is extremely good. And so half the ship went that, and half came in here. And we'll come on to the buffet a bit later, and you'll see why that's popular. Okay, to help you get a feel for the type of cuisine on offer, let me show you some of what we were served during our cruise.
This is a seafood spring roll
That looks very pretty.
on glass noodle.
Okay, what have we got here? We got a salmon, and we have a red curry on croûte, which is a combination I have never had before, nor would I have thought of putting together, really. The shrimp cocktail, look at that. Those were so famous in the 70s. I'm glad to see them come back. Occasionally, one likes to go back in a time machine and have a dish that you're familiar with. Well, here we go. Main course tonight we have surf and turf. That's a huge slab of beef there. Okay, so we have some famous Holland America French onion soup, and I will be doing a direct comparison with Celebrity because they reckon theirs is the best at sea, so we'll find out. Oh, it's beetroot, cauliflower, and a crostini. It's Holland American. I think that is at least the equal of Celebrity, possibly even a little bit better. Very tasty. Nice, oozy, gooey cheese on the top. Rich, intense soup flavour. It's a very, very good French onion soup, that one. So here we go. Dover sole had to be ordered because it's not often available on a cruise ship menu because it's quite pricey. So a beef tenderloin with crab meat with mashed Yukon potatoes. I must say I do like this dining room. You go to many dining rooms across the different cruise lines and some of them are quite similar, but not this one. I really like the contemporary feel to it. And I do like a nice feature staircase. Back in the day, cruise ships always had feature staircases. Now they're phasing them out. I think it's a shame. Why not have a little bit of a drama? Why not have a little bit of sparkle and pizzazz?
You have meatball on rice.
I do have meatballs on rice. My fault for ordering that one. But I'm sure it's going to be delicious. Well, it's beyond meatballs.
May I just tell you what I ordered? Go back to yours.
Yes.
Just look at it.
Yes.
I have beautifully seared tuna
Yes.
with onion rings
Yes.
and a bit of ratatouille looking. Oh, hang on. Shrimp.
Beautifully prepared, that one. Well done, chefs.
Fully prepared.
Looks beautiful.
So I'm glad I have this, and you have meatball and rice.
Seeing as we're sailing the Caribbean, we have a rum and chocolate dessert. And it's a cheese board. Oh, look at that prime rib. That's for a growing lad, isn't it? That's like half the cow.
By the way, Ritzy Travel Guide is on Instagram and Facebook. If you enjoy following us around in real time, in between filming for YouTube, you can follow us on both of these. You'll see what we get up to, the countries we visit, and behind the scenes. The channel name is the same as here, Ritzy Travel Guide. There is the link up at the top, and I'll also put the address in the description box for this video. So follow along with us on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll see you in those. Right, so that was the main dining room. In a moment, we'll show you the buffet and the speciality dining. Firstly, let me show you some of the main outlets aboard. We'll start with the entertainment on offer. Holland America has started to get itself quite the reputation for live music. And there is a section of the ship they call the Music Walk, where you can drift between 3 venues all on the same deck and get a different experience from each. So let's take a look at those. First up, there is the B.B. King's Blues Club, and I think it's in one of the finest venues on the ship. A really dramatic 2-story affair. By day, it hosts talks, gatherings and activities, and by night, it becomes something completely different. The lights go down low, and you're seemingly transported to Beale Street in Memphis, as it becomes a live music hub, playing a range of smoky R&B, soul and blues. It has got a great vibe, and really pulsates late into the evening. It was one of our favourite places to while away our time. My wife loves live music, and this one really hit the spot. Just along the Music Walk corridor is the Rolling Stone. Here it is. It's got a great look and decoration to it. You can dance away to a live band, mostly rock music, but anything from pop to country and beyond. It's an up-close, sociable experience. Finally, directly opposite is Billboard, and because they're right next to each other, the acts alternate every hour. Otherwise, you couldn't possibly hear both at the same time. Think of Billboard like a dueling pianos bar that you've seen on a couple of other lines, but a chance to hear Broadway-type hits, evergreen and sing-along classics. It's a really popular venue to relax, have a drink and socialise. But what if you want somewhere a little bit more quiet, to chill, relax and chat? Well, on board there are a couple of options. First off is the observation bar. Hooray! Why do I say that? Because they are getting increasingly phased out on new ships, which I think is a crying shame, because they give a fantastic view. And let's face it, you're on a cruise ship, you're supposed to be able to see out, but so many newer ships have deleted them, or annoyingly given access to them only for suite guests. Thank God, Holland America ships still have a lovely observation lounge called the Explorations. You get to it via a nice corridor with some historic paintings showing the fleet down the ages.
You can imagine you're back in the day with the steamships, trying to work out whether I would like to have been there or not. Took life into your own hands, really, didn't you, in those days? Just transporting myself back.
Maybe that one. Maybe this one would be a nice ocean line one.
It is, with the single stack, the single funnel. It's a nice one, that one, isn't it?
Yes.
I have a soft spot for these old ships. I can just imagine.
Back in those days, people do dress up for dinner.
Yes.
Humphrey Bogart
Yes.
be dressed up with his cravat and tie, and he glides through the room.
Absolutely. I shall channel my inner Bogart tonight for gala evening.
It's a lovely spacious lounge right up high, top of the ship at the front, with fantastic views, 270 degrees all around, just how it should be. With loads of comfy chairs and recliners, it's a really inviting space, and it's open from early morning until late at night. And you've got some great binoculars and a tripod to spot that whale or a desert island hoving into view.
You look every inch the Admiral.
As well as this splendid model replica of an earlier version of the ship, the 5th iteration of the Rotterdam, which was considered an absolute classic, and the bell is still hanging there. There's also a section for games and reading, as well as a coffee section with snacks and drinks. It's a beautiful spot. Still lots of fun to show you, such as the buffet. Well, you might say it's very busy in the buffet tonight, and for one good reason, it's Caribbean-themed night tonight. Also, I want to tell you about this special section of the ship that you can optionally pay for. I will also take you around our cabin. And then we're going to show you the spa, the health centre, and I got checked up. God help me, we'll show you that. Right, shall we take a look at afternoon tea? Holland America is one of the few cruise lines that still offer a proper sit-down afternoon tea, but a few, such as Cunard, Fred Olsen, Oceania and Regent, are very much keeping the tradition alive. So let's see how the Holland America version stacks up.
Well, it's 3 o'clock on a sea day. What does that mean? Well, we must try afternoon tea.
Here we go, en route. Now, we're not talking about the Dutch cafe, which you can see here. No, we'll carry on past that. It's held in the main dining room. It's not quite as swanky as you get on Cunard, where the waitstaff swoop in with their silver trays and white gloves, but you feel the pomp and ceremony. We do have a full set of videos about Cunard on our channel if you want to watch those after this. Back here on Holland America, it's a little bit more casual, and strangely enough, not that many people attend, so you have a good chance of getting in and trying it on several occasions, should you wish.
So, what have we got for Dutch tea day?
As the afternoon teas, it has to have 3 decadent layers.
Look at those white gloves. Doesn't that look smart? How civilized.
Please enjoy. Thank you. Okay.
These look pretty.
I'm an absolute sucker for afternoon tea and go whenever I can.
What is that you can smell, dear viewer? It's the smell of sugar and butter.
And a rather good afternoon tea.
Incidentally, there is also a brunch that's held once per cruise too, often on the last sea day, and it's themed around a destination. In our case, it was the Caribbean. That brunch is a lot of fun. Make sure you go. Also, the liquor and the alcohol is out early in the morning, if that's the sort of thing you would like.
Well, why not have some cocktails and alcohol at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Now, in this video, we're not showing you our ports of call. That will come in video 2, our cruise diary. So make sure you watch that one when it comes out, because we go to some absolutely sparkling ones. Right, let's now go and look at the buffet. For a lot of people, it's one of the most requested segments out of our review videos. Now, I have some good news on this one. Let's go and take a look. First off, it's spacious and well laid out. On all 3 Pinnacle Class ships, the buffet is called the Lido.
Well, we've got some coconut curried mussels in a huge paella-style pan. And we have some shrimp diabolo. We have some spiced pork belly. Wow, well, you might say it's very busy in the buffet tonight, and for one good reason, it's Caribbean-themed night tonight.
All evenings we're in the dining room, but today is the one day you would rather be on the buffet.
Who would?
Not on the buffet, in the buffet.
Wow, look at that. Suckling pig on the buffet tonight. Look at that, look. Camera's out. Everybody's looking at the suckling pig tonight. Fantastic charcuterie section with the cold meats and platters. It's just counter after counter of tempting stuff. Ribs, steak, fish, tempura skewers. Sole, not often you get sole on a buffet. Hang on, you just gone straight past your favourite all-time oxtail.
There's no space.
No space on your plates. Wow, look at that paella. Huge vat of fish and mussels and shrimp. Can I have some paella, please? Thank you. That looks amazing. Fresh seafood, goodness. And here we have an Indian section. We got some butter chicken and some vegetable korma. Look at those. The aroma coming off that. If you could smell that, dear viewer. Amazing Indian herbs and spices. We've got Caribbean trifle in little pots. Caribbean rum cake. I wonder how much rum has gone into that one. Ooh, chocolate and whiskey. I tell you what, there's alcohol pouring out at the desserts this evening. Look how clever. A bit of fruit art. Well, fruit on turkey. Turkey, turkey. Good job. Who did that? Oh, how about that? We have a lobster mac and cheese. Doesn't that look beautiful? It's amazing. Oh, and right next door, we have some escargot. 2 of your favourite things in the same place at once.
Escargot.
You're not moving from this counter, are you? It's got absolutely everything in life that you've ever dreamt of.
And we were really impressed with the breadth and variety of food on offer. It was of a generally high standard. I would say the equal of the Celebrity Edge class of ships, which is currently the top of our league for premium priced ships. One of the tests for how good a buffet is by how popular it is for dinner, because on most cruise lines, the main dining room is the place to be at night, because it's supposed to have the better food. Here, I would say at least half the diners at night were in here, the buffet. So that's a testament to its quality and variety. Still to come, we show you some of the great specialty restaurants aboard. We show you a slightly exclusive section out on the deck, and we give our grand verdict on Holland America. But first, let's show you the cabin. We booked a balcony class. In fact, we ended up having 2 different types, and I'll show you why, because halfway through the cruise, we changed, and there was a reason for that. But let's take you in to have a look. Let's start off with our first cabin of the cruise, 4019.
Oh, you positively ran here. How did you get here so fast?
I waited for you. This is like the Oscars, opening the envelope. So there's a check your name. Ooh,
What are we thinking?
it's rather nice.
Was that a nice ooh? It's a good-looking cabin, isn't it?
It's a really good looking cabin. What really captured my attention is that balcony. It is so wide and welcoming because of the sheer size of it.
It's a big balcony, isn't it?
It's a big balcony. Hang on a minute. Do not look like it. It is a big balcony. It's very sociable. See? Most balconies is only as deep as the overhang, but in this instance, it's a lot wider, so you can actually sunbathe.
Far larger than you would normally get. It was more of a terrace, really. Very spacious. As for the cabin itself, we liked it. Nice, bright and airy. No dark tones or colours. And we feel it is generous for the cabin grade and the price we paid. Lots of cupboards and storage options. It's empty under the bed, so you can store your luggage and cases there. There was also a reasonable vanity or dressing table with bright lights. As for socketry, that was fairly normal by today's cruising standards. And there's a large screen TV central to the middle of the bed, not offset to one side.
Try do the bed test. Yes, that passes. That's very comfortable. Nice, soft feel to it. Just about the right sort of give. Shall we have a look at the cupboards? What have we got? Let's have a look at the cabinetry.
As for wardrobes and cupboard space, again, fairly typical for this cabin size. It suited our requirements. There's a normal minibar fridge, as well as a safe, which is wide enough for putting in a laptop. Surprising how some ships these days provide a safe that's too narrow, can't get your electrical equipment in. With this one you can, it's okay. Let's check out the bathroom.
Ooh, that looks very smart. Look at that. I'm approving of that. It's got a real upmarket hotel feel to it. Another fabulosity mirror. Lots of creams and whites and nice, decent size shower. Right, let's give it a height test. Should we check out, see whether giants can go in it? There we are. Plenty of height. We've been in cruise lines where even I have had to bend down.
And fabulosity mirror. Right here. Loving it.
But as much as we liked that first cabin we tried, there was one aspect that didn't really suit us, and that was the balcony. Do you remember this terrace we showed you right at the beginning? Because as spacious as it was, the height of the superstructure meant we didn't really get a sea view. Not so easy to see over. So we went off to see guest services, asked if they had a more traditional balcony available. They did, and very graciously allowed us to move. So here is our new balcony cabin, 5064. Configuration and internal size is pretty much identical. It's just the balcony, which is the traditional type, with a full sea view. I highlight this to you just so you know there is a difference when you come to book. As for the rest of the cabin, we really liked it. Very usable, very comfortable. And I tell you what, it's a quiet ship. Some ships creak or vibrate or rattle incessantly. Not the Rotterdam. Here, take a listen. It's almost silence, isn't it? It's quite rare, I can tell you. Some ships creak and groan. If you're a light sleeper, you might well like the Rotterdam and the other Pinnacle class of ships. By the way, we tried out room service twice during our cruise, and good news, with Holland America, it's still free, complimentary, included in your fare price. That's increasingly rare nowadays. A lot of other lines apply an upcharge, and I will show you more of that room service in our second video, The Cruise Diary.
Good morning, room service. I'm looking forward to this.
Now, I do want to talk to you about something I have not yet mentioned, and that's a whole special section at the top of the ship. The retreat. Think of it as a luxury outdoor area that gives you benefits. Here it is on the Rotterdam. It's a secluded section with private cabanas, lounge chairs and sunbeds. You pay your one-off fee, I'll tell you what that is in a moment, and then you get access to these cabanas. It's being sold as an exclusive area that is separate away from the crowds. Apart from cabanas, there's also a hot tub, and lunch and snacks are served to you. You get to choose from a menu. And there is a choice of ice cream mid-afternoon, and then chocolate-dipped strawberries and a glass of sparkling wine served late in the afternoon, early evening. So what does it cost? Well, as I record this, a two-person cabana runs to $50 a day. Cheaper if you commit to the entire cruise. It may well be a good idea, particularly if you're booked on a high holiday season, peak season time, because the rest of the ship, that's going to be at its most busy. You may quite like that little sanctuary at the top of the ship, and it's not hugely expensive. So, what if you want to splurge a little, splash some cash, and pay up for some specialty dining options that aren't included in your cruise fare? Well, there are several options. Let's go round them and I'll tell you their current pricing. First off, you have the Pinnacle Grill. It's their signature restaurant and has been around for years on Holland America. It was first introduced on their Volendam ships, and I remember going on that 25 years ago. Fabulous it was then, and it still is now. It's primarily a steakhouse, though they will serve a range of dishes, including fish and vegetarian. As we record this video, the current cost for lunch, it's a good deal. That's $25 per person. Dinner is $52. Kids are onto a winner here. It's either half price if you order off the main menu, or free if you take the kids menu. Lucky them. In general, whenever we've eaten at the Pinnacle, we've been absolutely delighted with it. Next up, we have the Tamarind. It's their Pan-Asian outlet, and you get the clue the moment you step out of the elevator. It's all nicely decorated, with a great position right at the back of the ship, with lovely views. The cost for this is $35 plus gratuities. Don't forget, on Holland America, you have to add 18% for this. And you get a big selection of regional cuisine to choose from. Everything from Japanese to Malay to Indonesian, and lots of Thai. It also shares the space with Nami Sushi. Now, we dined in the Tamarind our last trip, and I had some interesting coverage of that in video 2, and you'll get to see what we had, what we tried out. Next to the buffet, in fact, sort of part of it, you have Canaletto. During the day, you can sit there and bring your own buffet items. At night, it repurposes into an Italian, and it's fairly priced actually, $25 plus gratuities. Again, the kids' deal is on offer, and they serve everything from pasta to meatballs, ossobuco, beef short rib, and tiramisu for dessert. Yum, I'm almost there. Next we're going to look at is Rudi's Celle de Mer, featuring the flavours of France, Spain and Greece, with a focus on fresh fish. This is what it looks like inside, but it's possibly one of the least popular specialty outlets on board. It used to be popular back in the day, but its star seems to be waning a little bit. Perhaps it's because of the cost. It's one of the most expensive on board at $55 plus tips. Now, right next to Rudi's, Club Orange is exclusive for those who buy a special package. It does give you a couple of benefits, such as this dining room. Yes, it's upmarket, but it's tucked away in a narrow room with no sea view. So much worse than the main dining room, just along the corridor that has amazing views out. And it's noisy because it's right on that corridor that leads you to the main dining room. So to me, wrong place with no view. You do get a couple of other benefits with Club Orange. You get priority embarkation and departure, you get priority tenders, and you do get a nice stateroom within your particular grade and category. About to come to our final conclusion and verdict, whether you should book it. But first, a section we haven't looked at yet. How about we look at the spa, the gym, and the wellness? Here we go. First up, the gym. Now, my wife uses this one regularly. Clearly, I don't. You can tell that. And she reports back to me that it's one of the better ones. Has a great position right at the top of the ship, with commanding views outside to keep you distracted, and plenty of machines and apparatus.
It does look like a very well-equipped gym, this.
It is a very good gym.
Does it have most of the machines that people would be looking for?
Yes.
Also in this section, there is a wellness centre, and you can apply for a free complimentary checkup. Why not? It's there. And the one that caught my eye, or in fact tongue, was a tongue checkup. Apparently it reveals all sorts of things about you.
I'm off to have my tongue analysed. The waiting room for tongue analysis.
Would you have gone for that? Let me know in the comments. There is also the spa, and some of the treatments that might interest you could be a Swedish deep tissue massage, or there's an intriguing Thai herbal one, or you could get hot stones placed all over you, and there's also a hydropool, and if you're adventurous, there's also needles and acupuncture. On this occasion we didn't try those, as my wife has recently attended a massage school back at home from an Asian retreat, where they taught her all sorts of things, and so she's been practicing on me. Lucky me. Right, it's time for our final verdict and conclusions. Okay, as in life, there is no perfect cruise line, there is no perfect ship, there never will be. It's a matter of how much it gets right. At the outset, our mission was to discover is the Rotterdam, and by extension all three of the Pinnacle Class of Ships, one of the very best premium cruise experiences out there right now. We won't consider luxury lines because that's a very different segment, and for the same reason, we won't compare against the mass market cruise lines. So is Holland America one of the best, if not the best, premium cruise company out there? Right, let's go through our verdict in two parts. Firstly, the bits we feel they haven't got quite right, and then the bits we absolutely loved. First off, if you're old school and like a promenade deck, you are likely to be disappointed. It's much, much more narrow than days gone by, almost no reclining chairs, almost no view. Designers have decided to relegate this, and the vast majority of the way round, lifeboats block your view.
You know what, this reminds me of the Cunard Queen Anne, because both of these are Pinnacle ships, and a lot of the complaints about the Queen Anne have been about the sad demise of the promenade deck. Well, it's still here, but it doesn't feel like one, and exactly the same here with the Rotterdam. They can claim that there is a promenade deck on paper, but it doesn't feel like one. I mean, you can get your exercise, but you're not getting a view.
Second, we feel it's not so good, the theatre troupe. Now, whilst the venue is very, very high-tech and modern, well done for that part, we think the Broadway-style shows that they put on are not that stellar, not that amazing, really a bit basic. Now, I can't show you an example of any theatre shows because Holland America doesn't allow you to film those. Odd really, as it might help their shows get some publicity, but there you go. It's not their best moment. There are other cruise lines who put on a far more professional stage show. I'm referring to the in-house productions. It seems to be the head office has just decided it's not one of their priorities, just not spending the money, not spending the budget on them. But the invited guests, the invited acts are still good. We have to be honest, tell you what we feel. Let me know in the comments if you agree or not. Secondly, if you were into classical music and the arts, well, the Lincoln Center stage has gone. It's no longer on Holland America ships. There's a performance area dedicated to classical music. The company decided that it wouldn't continue and it's gone no more. Apparently they may bring it back in some minor guise into the main theatre, but it's all going to be very ad hoc and they haven't said when. Next, in the not so good, smoking, and to us, Holland America seems to permit it more than many other lines. It's not a scientific study of mine, but it feels that way, particularly around the casino, where there's a lot of smoking, and then it can spread around the ship, plus some outdoor areas too that they permit it. Right, well that's not a very long list of negatives, is it? Let's now go on to the positives and what we really like. First off, the staff. It has to be some of the most friendly we've found at sea. Genuinely so. It never seemed forced or put on, and it becomes infectious. When you're greeted by smiley people, you return it back. The staff were often singing and coming up to say hi.
Do you sing every night?
Yes!
Oh, I see. There was no reason for it, you just felt happy and felt like singing.
Always happy to make you happy.
Well done.
And I think it starts at the top, and by that I mean the captain. On this cruise, the captain was Eric Barhorst, very approachable, always doing his round on the ship. He dined at many of the outlets to be amongst the passengers, and in general was highly visible.
Have you got any questions for the captain? Shall I lean round and ask a question?
And this is in stark contrast to other ships and lines where captains seem to hide. Likewise, I would like to commend the cruise director. Jayme McDaniel. Don't often mention cruise directors on our reviews because sometimes they don't do very much. This occasion, they very much do. He worked his socks off. Every day there was practical advice on the cruise ports coming up, how to get in and out of town, help for passengers who were considering independent exploration. There was a full briefing of what to expect. Some other cruise lines I can think of aren't half as helpful. Next to highly commend is the main dining room. And the capacity, they've absolutely got it right. More than sufficient tables for the given number of passengers. Other cruise companies have long lines to get in and out, and tables are jammed together. Not here. It's a way more relaxing experience compared to the norm. And the standard of cuisine is not bad either. It's good enough that you don't need to pay for speciality if you don't want to. It's not absolutely 5-star, but it's not bad either. And room service is also free, which is a rarity these days. And the buffet is quite a bit better than some other cruise lines out there. There's a good amount of variety and the opening hours are generous. I would rate the buffet in the upper quartile of cruise offerings. The 2 pools are good, especially the Lido under the retractable roof. In person, it has a stylish, contemporary feel to it. The area is well designed. And once during your cruise, they have a carnival evening where the staff are very much involved, and it's good to see them mingle and genuinely enjoy it. In a sense, cruising with Holland America is somewhat like how cruising used to be back in the day, with good service, a visible crew, and plenty of help and guidance, and a lot of inclusions. The cutbacks that the cruise industry as a whole has gone through seem to be far less apparent here on Holland America. There's still a huge amount that's included in the cruise fare. Would we recommend cruising with Holland America? Yes, we absolutely would. And concerning specifically the 3 Pinnacle ships, their latest ones, I have to say I think the company has done a good job of modernizing their fleet and trying to accommodate both old-style cruising with some modern updates and bringing the fleet into the next decade. And most importantly, the ship does not feel full, and that's the real test for cruising these days. When so many of these new ships are coming out, doesn't matter whether they're mega ship, mid-size ship, if they feel packed, if they feel rammed, it's not enjoyable. A lot of the ships are getting it wrong. These 3 Pinnacle Class ships don't feel full, and they're getting a lot right. And ultimately, does Holland America match its direct competitors to be the best premium cruise company? And that pits it against some solid competition, such as Celebrity Cruise Lines and their Edge class of ships. Is the Rotterdam better than those, such as the Celebrity Ascent? Well, that would be a tough order, but I'd say in some areas it comes quite close. And Princess, what about them? Well, it's changing its game. Last year's Sun Princess and this year's coming Star Princess are getting ever bigger, nudging 4,200 passengers. That's substantially more than the Rotterdam and the Celebrity ships as well. So perhaps the most direct comparison for Holland America might well be Cunard. Cunard has recently launched their Queen Anne, which is also a Pinnacle Class ship, released in May 2024, also owned by Carnival, and in many ways it's a natural alternative to Holland America, Both have over 150 years of tradition and do things the time-honoured way. Should you consider Cunard instead of Holland America? Well, to help you with that, we've just put out 3 different videos on Queen Anne in the past couple of months, and you can watch those right away. We mention the pros and cons of everything, so you can decide which one you would prefer. Now, a little bit further down the pipeline, coming to our channel, we are cruising and filming aboard 3 brand new cruise ships being released in 2025. So you can see if any of those would catch your eye. We're talking about the new offering from Princess. We'll be on her. Also, we'll be going on the latest from Oceania, called the Allura. That's for those who are foodies or want some luxury touches. We'll be aboard that one. And then the new Celebrity Excel. All of these promise to be fine ships, and we'll bring that coverage to you. Remember to be subscribed to the channel so you know when those videos come out, you can be alerted. And don't forget, there is video 2 of this, the Holland America series. I think you'll love that, the cruise diary, as you get to see day by day what to expect.
Oh, there's something coming to tempt you here. Anybody like to guess what themed evening it is tonight on Holland America? Oh, and look at that. It's orange from left to right.
And we take you to some beautiful Central American port stops. They're full of vibrancy and colour.
It's so beautiful. The locals are so friendly. And what's written on this logo is very true. Pura Vida pervades the whole atmosphere.
And as well, we'll take you to the Panama Canal. Here is the playlist for all of our cruise ship reviews and cruises. You can see that here, and here is our latest video. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ritzy Travel Guide. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us, and we'll see you in one of these 2 right now.